Morning, folks. Tyler Flynn with the World Axe Throwing League here, just running you through some of the basics of the new 2024 rules with some little videos here to help us understand the new gameplay. The first thing everybody sort of asks us is, how do I explain this game to a new person? Well, when you have a new person coming into League, the basics are pretty simple, and they don't need to know much more than that for now. So, in essence, the red is worth 6, but you can only hit each red. You notice we have 5 on the board now, once per half. However, you aren't penalized too much for hitting it a second time. In your normal league play, hitting the same red a second time in a half will be worth 5 points. So if you have a new leaguer, they can just keep honing in their aim on that center and still be able to get several points even if they hit that 6 more than once. That changes a little bit when you go to a tournament, but we'll go over that in a second. The second big thing that we've added this year is the addition of the lower kill shots. Now our 2024 kill shots will also have an inner kill worth 8 and the outer kill worth 6, but just like in 2023 you had to alternate sides once you hit a kill shot, you will now have to alternate heights. Now there is no requirement to also alternate sides, so if you hit a top kill shot, you'll have to go for a bottom one. If you hit a bottom one, you have to go for a top one. Same 2023 rules apply on calling kills and getting a third one for a drop. When you're explaining rules to new people, right, those are the basics that they really need to know. However, as they progress in the sport, they might need to know more and more. You don't need to explain every detail to them off the rip. For instance, sudden death is a little complicated when you read it out. It's pretty simple once you see it played, but your leaguers don't need to know that until they get to the situation. When you have a tie in your league, that's a good time to jump in and talk to them about what happens in sudden death. So in a league situation, right, it's the same as it is now with sudden death, where you can start at any kill shot on the board you want. If you both miss, you're going to measure the closest one in our traditional who sucks less format. If you both hit a 6 or both hit an 8, because remember we're going to have an inner 8 and an outer 6, right? If you both hit the same value, then you're going to throw your next kill shot at the next one clockwise. Okay, so if you start in the top right, your second kill attempt must be at the bottom right. And then it proceeds the same way. If you both hit a 6 or an 8 here, then you move on to this one. The only exception to that is if you do have a drop on your first throw of sudden death, right? All kills will be open because there's not a way to necessarily tell which kill you were going for when you had that drop. In tournaments, a few things change, including some things about sudden death. The big one for sudden death is that we're only going to measure after the third attempt. So if we're starting in our top right in sudden death and we either both miss or both hit the same value, we keep moving on. Both miss, both hit the same value. Both miss, both hit the same value. Well, now, if we both miss at any point after our third throw, we're going to go to that who sucks less measurement. Okay. We had 3 opportunities to hit a kill, and from here, we're going to go to that measurement. The next big thing about tournaments is how the bullseyes close out. We talked earlier that you're not really penalized for hitting the same red part twice. But in a tournament, both 5s and 6s close out, and they close out that target to a 0. It's a little bit different than league, right? So you're going to want to explain that to your leaguers should we get to that point. For instance, if you hit the 5 in the center ring, right, on throw 1, you can no longer, until throw 6, hit any part of this 5 or 6, and hitting either will be 0 points. The same thing goes for these outer ones. Hitting the 5 or the 6 eliminates that target from the board until you switch sides. Thanks for joining us and bearing with us on all these changes for 2024. We really look forward to throwing with you then and far into the future.